Hello, DeAndre Smith here, and this lesson is designed to show you the ins and outs on estimation. Now, estimation can be used in a lot of different applications, but we mainly use it to check answers or if we want to find out the value of something very quickly. So without further ado, let's go to the board. Estimating to the nearest place value can be summarized in 3 steps. The first step is to analyze the digit to the right of the desired rounding digit. Secondly, we'll change the rounded value if necessary. The reason why I say if necessary is because if the digit to the right of the rounding value is greater than 4, then that means that we're going to take the rounding digit and bump it up. If it's less than 4, that means that it will stay the same. And lastly, we're going to replace the succeeding values with zeros. So in this example, we're asked to round the number to the nearest 10, and the number is 56. So the first thing to do is to look at the place value representation of each of the digits in 56. So notice that the problem asks that we round to the nearest 10. Well, the digit immediately right to the tens is the ones, which is a 6. Because 6 is greater than the number 4, then we can conclude that this whole number is going to go up. So the rounded answer of 56 is 60. Now we're going to round to the nearest 100. Now notice if we take the number 135 and we place each of the digits on a place value chart, we get a 1 in the hundreds, a 3 in the tens, and a 5 in the ones. Well, the digit immediately right to the hundreds is the tens. So the 3 will tell us thus if the hundreds is going to stay the same or if the hundreds is going to round up a place. Because 3 is less than 4, that means that the hundreds place is going to stay the same. So therefore our rounded number would be 100. In this example, we're going to look at some decimals. So we are going to round the number 356 thousandths to the nearest hundredth. So the decimal place value immediately right to the hundredths is the thousandths. Well, because 6 is greater than 4, that means that our hundredth value is going to increase. So our rounded value would be 0.360. Oftentimes when using estimation to solve problems, the rounding digit is relative to whatever the case of the problem may be. So for example, if we were using money, most likely we would round to the nearest hundredth, or we would round to the nearest whole number. Or say we were counting the number of students in a college institution. Well, we will most likely probably round to the nearest thousands. Well, in the next clips, you are going to see some story problems in which we will be using different applications of rounding as far as to get an answer to a problem. 335 workers are in a cafeteria. 234 go home. About how many workers are left in the cafeteria? In this problem, I think the best application in rounding would be to the nearest tenth. But it can be to the nearest hundred too if you like. But I think going to the nearest tenth would be the most accurate. So 335 and rounding to the nearest tenth will go to 340. 234 and going to the nearest tenth would be 230. And of course this is a subtraction problem. So 340 minus 230 equals 110 workers. Mom made 510 cupcakes for a bake sale. 226 sold in 2 days. About how many cupcakes are left? In this application, I believe that rounding to the nearest hundred will yield the best result. So 510 to the nearest hundred would be 500. 226 to the nearest hundred would be 200. And thus, in solving a problem, 500 minus 2 times 200 is equal to 100 cupcakes. In this example, we are asked to estimate 131 and 591 10,000ths times 2,512 and 9,823 10,000ths. Okay, since this problem asked us to estimate and it doesn't specify the rounding digit, you pretty much can round any digit that you feel is most comfortable for you. But for the sake of this example, I did to the nearest whole number and also to the nearest 100. So let me explain those to you. So in the number 131 and 591 10,000ths, well, the rounding digit would be the ones value. So the digit immediately right to the 1 would be the 0. Since 0 is less than 4, that means that the 1 will stay the same, and thus our whole number is 131. And 2,512 and 9,823 10,000ths, looking at the ones value, the digit immediately to the right of the 2 is the 9. So since 9 is greater than 4, that means our 2 is going to be bumped up 1. So thus our whole number is going to be 2,513. Doing the multiplication, 2,513 times 131 is going to give 329,203. To the nearest 100, we are going to look at the digit which is in the 100 place value on a place value chart. So the digit immediately to the right would be the tens value. So looking at the 3, since 3 is less than 4, our 1 is going to stay the same, and thus our value to the nearest 100 would be 100. And the next number, looking at the value immediately to the right, we have a 1. Since 1 is less than 4, that means the 5 will stay the same, and thus our new value would be 2,500. I hope that this video was able to help you. Again, these concepts could be used in any problem that asks you to round numbers or to perform arithmetic operations by using rounded numbers. As always, if you need any additional exercises or if you need any additional help, feel free to contact me.